What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 356 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelly Nolan.
Hello.
And LJ is not here.
So it's
he will
just
be.
us.
Yes, he's editing. It's just the two of us today. We've got a really good show. This week we're geeking out about Nintendo, switching it up, Spy Kids, and some Disney Plus news.
Cool.
Before we do that, we'll get into the games that we've been playing, like always. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I finally beat Ganon.
Yay!
So now I don't really care about the game much anymore.
I can't believe that you spoiled that you fight Ganon in this game.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's like the one thing that's so obvious. Cool.
I told
How'd you
someone
like
the
it?
other day, before that, I was at work the other day, and someone asked if I did anything exciting this week, and they're not gamers at all. And so I was like, I beat Ganon today. And he was like, what? And so I was like, never mind, I'll find someone who cares. And then I went to my manager, who is a gamer.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I beat Ganon today, and he was like, good job. And then the waitress that had no idea what was going on was like, I'm so confused right now. I'm like, it's a major accomplishment. I saved Hyrule.
Yeah, exactly.
That fight is interesting. I don't want to give too much away, but I know a big complaint of the first game was that it was too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they definitely made this fight to where it could be a challenge. It kind of, for me, who was overprepared, I overprepared last time too. It more felt like just a slog for me. Like it was never ending. Mm-hmm. But if I wouldn't have been as prepared as I was, I think I would have had to use a little bit more strategy, and that would have been cool.
See, that was me. I was not prepared.
Yeah?
I went into it thinking... Well, I went into the entire last section of the game underprepared because I wasn't really thinking very hard, and I just wanted to beat the game. I was like, I'm done with this game. I just want to beat it. And I let my pride get the best of me a little bit and ended up just like dying a lot over and over. And I thought, no, I don't need to back out. Like, I don't need to, like, I could do this. I just need to get better. I just need to put on, like, I don't play Dark Souls, but I was like, I need to put on Dark Souls sort of mentality. And then eventually I was like, okay, fine, I need this one item or this one type of thing that helps you a lot, because otherwise I was severely limiting myself, as guess what it without spoiling what I'm sure people kind of know what I'm talking about, people who were there, but I was just making it way harder for myself. And once I actually swallowed my pride, went back out, got the materials, came back, it was easy. It was totally fine. If
you're thinking what I'm thinking of, this might be spoiler. I want to say it, so if you don't want any spoilers, kind of be on the mind of that. But I think it's more of a tip, and I think it's good to know going in, is there is a device in the game that allows you to fast travel to basically anywhere by placing it down, and I strongly recommend having at least one of those.
Yeah, that's nice to have
before going down to fight him, because if you don't, it's very I can't imagine even trying to do that without that item. So keep that in mind. Yeah.
Well, I definitely tried to.
Yeah, is that the thing? Am I right?
Yeah, but there's also, I mean,
other things. I mean, we don't have to get too far into it. I was just
tip that, like, I just made it too hard for myself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My favorite Zelda boss battle, I guess, was in Twilight Princess, and in that you were changing the direction of your sword swings, and it got used a little bit in the game. It was really cool. Skyward Sword, obviously, that's the whole gimmick, is you got to swing your sword the right direction. But that felt so much more tactical than any other game that I've played so far in the Zelda series. Yeah, you were looking at Ganon in the way that he was standing and then swinging your sword, and it felt very much like you were actually sword fighting with the character.
I agree. That was cool.
I would have loved a little bit more of that in this instead of just the traditional. Yeah. There's kind of a gimmick in all Zelda games where you deflect and then hit, and that was very present in this. And there's just, I don't know, it'd be cool to be a little bit more strategic with it. Twilight Princess just felt so good. I know people hate on that game. Love that game.
I hope people don't hate that game. That game's awesome.
Yeah. I do wonder, what are they going to do for another Zelda game? Like, do you make another Breath of the Wild? Or do you...
I mean, they're just going to probably keep the formula up. I just don't know if they can really continue the same timeline or the same story.
Yeah.
Like, I would almost wonder if they would be willing to try to remake a previous game, but then have it with the newer map / style. You know what I mean? Like, Ocarina of Time, for example, for the time felt somewhat open world. Obviously it wasn't, but like you still had to go from area to area and it was pretty small, but like you could still run around Hyrule Field and there were still secrets and still things to find. So yeah. I feel like I don't anticipate they'll do this per se, but it's just like an idea. Like maybe they would consider making another game like that and then that's more storylined, but then have the open world aspect. I don't know how well it would work though. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it is weird though. They've kind of put themselves in a really weird position where they like struck gold and then they struck gold for a second time, but for a third time, I don't know if they can. I don't know if that's how it works.
I mean, they really succeeded in making Breath of the Wild better in Tears of the Kingdom. I just don't know where you, like, there really isn't anywhere
way around.
Tears of the Kingdom. Wait, how did I say it?
You said that Breath of the Wild is better than Tears of the Kingdom, and I would argue the opposite.
Oh, but yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is... They made Breath of the Wild better in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, yeah. Correct.
Like, they had Breath of the Wild, right, and then they were able to improve upon that.
Yes, and, that is correct.
I don't know how you improve upon Tears of the Kingdom. I hope
True.
they don't try... I don't know. I think
basically,
Link to the Past, you bring up another game timeline.
Yeah.
Link to the Past and do it a Dark World could be cool.
I just think, like, the problem with... I've talked about it already a lot. I think Tears of the Kingdom... conceptually is amazing and in a lot of ways is so amazing, right? Obviously it's just like it's so weak when it comes to its combat. Like it makes up in combat by trying to give you really creative ways to kill enemies with like physics and items and stuff, which I guess is cool, but for me, I don't know, for me I didn't really
I still
like
don't care about Zonai stuff. I got through that whole game just not caring about Zonai.
And so basically, I guess, I don't know. It'd be... Whereas, like, previous Zelda games, it's always, like... The combat / gameplay in general is always improved upon with the more items you get. Whereas that's just not a thing in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there aren't just big staple items that you get, you know, besides, like, the Master Sword. But besides that, you already have, like, you can make a bow. You already have bows. Shield. You don't get anything else, really. I mean, you get plethora of weapons, but they all operate in a similar way. It's not like it unlocks gameplay. I don't know. I'm thinking so much of like boomerangs. The way boomerangs or grappling hooks are used in previous Zelda games. Like they make gameplay so much more fun. But then I just don't know if that can be something that can be adopted into that style of Tears in the Kingdom. I don't know. I have no clue. Obviously, they're not trying to like Zelda die. Like obviously they're trying to push that franchise, so I am genuinely quite curious to see what they're trying to do next. A Dark
World or just a different land in general would be cool. And then like you said, bringing items into it to where like you have this open world, but it opens up more. The more items that you get would be fun.
Like a more classic Zelda.
Yeah. So you have this big open Hyrule, and then you get a boomerang, and the boomerang does specific things mechanically, and so that opens up more of the world for you.
I think I just would like them to go back to a not pure open world style, because that's basically what that is. Like, I think the big world is really cool, and being able to explore it is really great, but personally, I do miss that concept of like, well, you can't actually go everywhere. You need certain items. You need to progress the story, and then you can come back, and it's really cool because you're like, oh, I recognize this thing. I can go back to that one area, and I can get something for it. It'd be cool if they went back to that. I don't know.
The storytelling, that was really cool for a Zelda game. Storytelling was great in this. Especially going to Breath of the Wild. I was like, wow, this is like actually fun to watch. I actually care about these cutscenes.
Yeah, I mean... playing Final Fantasy afterwards, I was like, man, Tears of the Kingdom suck. Terrible story, but really it's not. It's better than Breath of the Wild, and I did care about the cutscenes. There's just, besides that, there's not much there.
Princess,
that's
that, a Square Enix partnership for Zelda would be really good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right, we can move on.
Sure.
What have you been playing?
So I actually beat 2 games this week, which is a
Nice.
lot for me. I'm not great at beating games, and so
Especially
beating 2
an
in
RPG.
1 week. Exactly, yeah. So I beat Breath of Fire 2.
Congrats.
So that was great, and I definitely don't know how anyone beat this game growing up before an emulator, because I heavily save scummed some of those final battles, and I needed to. And thankfully it ran RPG different than Pokemon. So Pokemon, for example, you can experience this if you use an emulator of any kind, is a lot of the attacks and things that happen are sort of somewhat preset. So if you say save before throwing a Pokeball, then, and you don't catch the Pokemon, you'd think that you could reload your save and try again, and you'd have like a different chance, but no, that's already set. And same if like a Pokemon's going to get a crit or whatever, like as long as they're going to do that same move, like then it'll always crit. So like you can't really do tons of save scumming in Pokemon in that way. Whereas in Breath of Fire 2, I could just save in the middle of a turn, and the enemy could just randomly hit any one of those attacks. And so if I got hit by the really big bad attack, I could just reload and then just hope that time he does a different attack, and a lot of times that would work, and I would just slowly make my way through. Yeah, Breath of Fire 2 was really fun. I liked it. I might consider trying another Breath of Fire game. It just kind of does make me sad, though, that it's a dead franchise, right? I actually looked up, because I was like, how many Breath of Fires actually are there? So there's technically 6. The 5th one, I think, came out on, I don't remember when, but it's been like over 10 years, like well over 10 years. Like it's been a while since since Breath of Fire 5. Like I want to say it might have even been before 2010. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 2010. Long time though. And then they made Breath of Fire 6 in 2016, but they tried to make it an MMORPG, which failed because they closed servers a year later.
November 14th, 2002.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, it was a long time ago. I didn't even remember. It was that long ago. 2002.
21 years ago.
So, like, imagine that. You have... It just, like, sounds like... I just think the history of Breath of Fire is just kind of like... It's like Horizon is now, in such a way where it's actually a really good series, but it's just constantly overshadowed by other really good similar series, because I think Breath of Fire was coming around the same time as Final Fantasy, a lot of those really big Final Fantasy games. So obviously it's going to get overshadowed in that way, and other really good JRPGs. So again, like, Breath of Fire 5 comes out 2002, right? The next game doesn't come out until 2016, and I think, if I was a Breath of Fire fan at the time, I'd probably be pretty excited. Oh my gosh, they're bringing back a franchise that I like. But no, they'd make an MMORPG, which they definitely just shouldn't do. Maybe they thought it was cool at the time. Yeah.
Kind of reading through quick.
Which is really weird. And then servers literally closed a year later. Like, it only took a year for it to close down, which is so bad. So, of course, it's like, that was like their shot of trying to resurrect the franchise. They chose the wrong option. And then
they literally probably thought, no one likes Breath of Fire anymore.
Basically, we
made a bad game.
Exactly. And which is so depressing. So... Capcom frustrates me. A lot of their games I do like, but they're all dead franchises. So, Okami is also part of that.
Chrono Trigger really needs to be revitalized.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Capcom is like, can you please make games that I enjoy and remake the games that I enjoy? But no, they just are like, Street Fighter! And I'm like, okay, that's cool. We like Street Fighter, but I don't know. I'm always looking at...
You can make, like, we need more Octopath games. Like, you can make a Breath of Fire in the style of Octopath.
Oh my
gosh. Chrono Trigger in the style of Octopath.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be
I don't really necessarily want, like, the new games RPGs. I want old school Octopath style RPG
just
games.
A little bit of a revamp. Just a little bit of a... Yeah, that'd be really great. So,
actually,
anyway.
Chain of Echoes would be a really great art style for
Yeah.
Breath of Fire.
I think it'd be really great. So anyway, I beat Breath of Fire 2, and then I also finally beat Patch Quest. Finally. And it's so annoying because that game is just hard. So I was finally, there were a lot of times where I was like really, really enjoying it. But I was like, but I don't want to enjoy it this much because I want to beat the game. I'm not trying to like I'm still trying to accomplish a goal here. And my goal is to complete the game. I can't just go and do runs and just have fun. Obviously you actually could. But like in my mindset, I was like, no, I need to like beat this game. And of course the how long to beat time online. Granted, I think only a couple people had put it in, but it said like 10 hours, and it definitely took me closer to 20. I don't think it took me 20, but it took me over 15. I want to say it took me like 16 or 17 hours to beat. So that was annoying, because that just made me feel like I was really bad at the game. I was like, really? Like, other people are just beating this in like almost half the time? That's crazy. But I finally beat it, and there actually is a true secret ending kind of thing, and I did not go for it because I was like, again, I just want to beat the game. I want to get the credits roll so I could count it in backlog golf, and that's what I did, even though it was very anticlimactic. Like, it's not even really a secret ending. The true ending is incredibly obvious, like what you're supposed to do, but it's just like so much more work. And I also, after I beat the game, was looking, I was like, okay, because again, backlog golf, just a fun little game we play here on the Geeks Under Grace staff. Some of us do. So one of the rules is, so if you beat a game, you get -1 point, and obviously it's golf, so you want less points. So that's a good thing. But you can actually get 1 more point knocked off if you complete the game. So like Steam getting all the achievements, for example. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at these achievements, and I'm like, this game would literally take probably like 50 hours to complete for a almost 20-hour games to beat. Like, it's like, collect all the monsters. There's little pins that you can collect. Like, every plant in the world you can pin and like use it for stuff, which is cool, right? But like, one of the achievements is to get all of them. One of the achievements is to reveal the entire map, which is huge. Obviously, get the true ending is one of them. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to complete this game. Like, maybe if I feel like playing this game every once in a while, I could, but that's just, I don't think it's happening. Patch Quest is very fun. I do recommend it. But it is hard. There was one boss I did have to beat, and I almost died, and I would have been so mad. I was literally at 1 hit point. You need to like lasso the monsters in order to catch them. Somewhat akin to Pokemon Rangers, like you need to circle them, but you need to make sure you're not getting hit when you circle them and lasso them, because then your lasso breaks. And I was trying to lasso this guy, and I had to lasso him like 5 times, which is way more than I normally have to. And it was doing all these attacks, and I was losing my mind because it took so long to get there, and I did not want to do it again. And so I'm really grateful that I got it, and so that I won. But now I'm trying to sort out my backlog and try to figure out what game I'm going to play next. It's either going to be Tunic, or I have a couple of games. I have Beacon Pines, Later Alligator. I have options. I just need to choose one, and I do need to choose one. And I do need to do it, or start playing Final Fantasy 15 again. Which is what I told myself I would play again, until my husband was like, no, you're going to play Breath of Fire 2. So now I'm done with that. I can do what I want. I'm free.
I'm torn between playing Final Fantasy 15 next or Forbidden West.
Oh, see, and I need to finish Forbidden West, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I really loved Horizon Zero Dawn, and I haven't played Forbidden West yet, so I don't know.
I started Forbidden West, and I can kind of assure you, if you were to just start Forbidden West and play it for, on and off for a week, you're probably going to get farther than me, because I started it and then almost immediately, like still in the first area, stopped playing. And again, it's not because the game's bad, just at the time I was like not feeling the open world thing. And honestly, I'm still not.
I don't remember what it came out with, but it came out with something that overshadowed it. Was it
Elden Ring. Elden Ring.
Yep.
just like Breath of Fire, I was always something overshadowing it, which is so unfortunate. Anyway, that's what I've been playing, though.
We'll get into the gaming news then. Something pretty big. We've heard rumors of this in the past. I don't know if we reported on the rumors very well. We try to stay from like more rumor stuff. And this is weird because it doesn't actually have like a source besides IGN. IGN is saying there are reports. But Nintendo is reportedly planning to release its next gen console, so a Switch 2, in 2024. And the reason that these reports are coming out are leaks from developers that are getting dev kits. So pretty concrete.
Yeah, this is the most concrete I think we've seen so far, especially with a date, or not literally a date, but a very rough estimate date is pretty crazy.
A couple things. It has an LED screen and not an OLED. I guess just save power. Yeah. And then it will be undockable like the Switch is. And then there are no reports whether or not it'll be backwards compatible. I would think that it would be, but knowing Nintendo,
I really hope so.
Probably isn't.
I'm gonna be so mad. Like that's the scary thing with these new games. Or sorry, not these new games. Well, sure, yes, new games, but new consoles specifically. Like I was really grateful that it was really quite easy to be able to transfer my PS4 games over to my PS5. And yes, I did also get a disc version of PS5, one that made it a little bit easier, but two, I was just able to load all my games onto an external SSD. And I just have that external SSD plugged into my PS5, and I run all my PS4 games from there because they're PS4 games and they really don't slow down at all, like extra. So I was really grateful to be able to do that. Being able to play those PS4 games on PS5. Or upgrade some of those PS4 games to the PS5 version if there is an upgradable version. But I just don't know if I trust Nintendo to make it that easy. In fact, I think they'd probably make it really complicated. And especially in this era where a lot of people are just buying digital, and people are being encouraged to buy digital. They make it really easy to buy digital with the eShop and with bonuses, digital bonuses, pre-order bonuses, making it like super desirable to get digital. I would just be so mad.
Console forever.
Yeah, I would just be really mad if you couldn't use physical cartridges on the new thing, right? Because then, like, I would just be mad if it wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not necessarily Switch cartridges.
Right. Yeah. I would be so upset if I couldn't play any Switch games on it, and it would be really, really annoying if I couldn't transfer any of my digital versions. Like, I do own quite a few of my games physically, but I know tons of people don't, especially those who own a Switch Lite. And actually, I don't remember if Switch Lite just can't dock. I think Switch Lites can take cartridges, but a lot of people just buy digital. It's like way easier. So if you're not going to make it so people can hold on to those digital copies and those digital games, then that's really scary. I don't like that at all.
Common sense tells me that they would make it all backwards compatible, and then it's just kind of like a stronger, beefier Switch. But what I know of Nintendo tells me
yeah, like
none of that's going to happen, and if you want to play your old games, it's going to cost you money somehow.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just so concerning because what I was grateful for with the Wii was that you could just play GameCube games and it was not a problem at all. But that back then, most games were still physical, especially GameCube games were pretty much all physical.
And Wii U, you could play Wii games. Yeah,
exactly. So they have respected the backwards compatibility in the past. It's just now I think they've done some backsliding. I think it's gotten worse, especially with like the NSO. I don't know. I'm just scared. Plus, I know theoretically things are pointing to this being sort of a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro or a different, a Switch but better kind of thing. And, it still could be, but I just know Nintendo loves their weird little gimmicks, and part of me is scared they're going to throw another weird gimmick thing in here, and that's going to make it really hard to have backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, they were able to make it work with the Wii. That you just plug in a GameCube controller and boom, you're good. So I'm hoping it'll be the same thing. You could just plug in your Pro controller and it'll just work. But I just don't know. And, you know, for me, I don't really care about the OLED screen not being there because I hardly ever play handheld anyway. I am usually docked, but I know tons of people are the opposite.
I'm very undocked.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I also don't really care about the screen if I'm playing that close up to my face. Like, if I want to play it in its glory, then I plug it into my TV.
Sure, yeah.
So, like, I don't necessarily need it to look nice if I'm handheld.
I just want it to like run games and not have to use cloud versions and maybe better UI in the menu, maybe customizable UI in the menu, maybe some more quality of life things. I feel like I'm asking for very simple things, but Nintendo is Nintendo. So.
Most of I don't know how much heavier I could go for a Switch, but it's so thin. I could probably go with it being twice as thick, and it would still feel okay in the hand.
I have huge hands, so honestly, I would like it bigger if at all possible. Those Joy-Cons
how big like a
PS5
controller is, you know?
Right, yeah. It's just the Joy-Cons, like, I have third-party ones now, right? I have off-brand that fit my hands better, but the Joy-Cons originally, I'm like, my hands are, like, cramping. Like, my hands are too big for this. The Pro controllers,
especially trying to play on one of them as, like, a sideways. There's no way.
No way. There's no way. It's, like, so small on my hands. I do still love the Pro Controller. I use my Pro Controller primarily as my controller if I have my Steam Deck docked on the TV. So when I was playing Breath of Fire, for example, I was using the Pro Controller. And when I was playing Patch Quest, I would use the Pro Controller as well. And that was really nice. And I hope, you know, that continues. If they want to make an even better Pro Controller, go for it. But I really like their Pro Controller. So I'm hoping they could at least use that still. Again, like PS5, you can still use a PS4 controller if you want for some games. So
I love my PS5 controller.
Exactly, yeah. PS5 controllers are also really great. I like them both. Yeah. I think they're both really good controllers.
I use my PS5 controller to play Xbox games on my PC.
You heathen. You cheater. You love it. That's really funny. Yeah, I just and I really, really do hope, though, again, I'm not a big handheld person, but I need them to not have drifty controllers. Like, my Procon has not drift, and I almost want to knock on wood, make sure it doesn't start drifting, because I know some people do have drifty Joy-Cons, but, or Procons. The Joy-Cons need to not, like, because it's the worst, right? It's just the worst. Simply, it is. They need to fix it. Or they need to make it way easier to fix on your own. Like, I know the newest PS5 controller has, like, it's like modules, right? You can, like, take it out really easily and replace it. And, like, yes, you still have to pay money for that, but it's, like, pretty cheap overall, and it is completely fixable. And so you can just get one controller. If it stops working, you can just replace that one piece that's not working, making it a lot better. Same with the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck actually is also mostly modular. There's a lot of fixable buttons. I actually have one button that kind of can't be fixed that's broken, but I've been able to work around it because there's so many buttons on the back for accessibility that I've been able to use one of those, and it's been really great. So again, that's cool. I'm hoping for accessibility because, again, universal design allows it so accessible options aren't just, you know, obviously they're meant for those who really need it, and it's great for them, but the great thing about universal design is that it also helps people who aren't necessarily needing it. It's just better for everybody. So better design of the controller, or specifically Joy-Con, I would love. Or maybe they get rid of the idea entirely. Maybe there's something else they're planning. Maybe they got something, like, maybe they're going to do the thing where, like, those weird, I think they do it with, like, phone controllers, where it's like you slide it on, and then you can slide it off and then mash it together. That becomes just one controller. I wonder if they would do that. I don't know. I'm curious, but I'm also not necessarily, like, hyped. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I think I'm just pessimistic about it. But I am very cautiously interested, knowing that I'm definitely still just going to get one.
Yeah.
But we'll see how excited I am about it. I don't know. Need more info.
Our next piece of news is something that's going to be only for a few of our listeners. But still pretty cool, I think, overall. And that is Final Fantasy XIV. It's getting a facelift. It's getting a major graphics update. I believe it said that it's going to be available on Xbox in 4K.
Oh my gosh.
Played Final Fantasy XIV is a pretty crazy leap. The game is quite old. I played it a couple years ago, and it still looked like an old PS3 game.
Yeah. And that's probably worthwhile. I mean, they want to really continue the longevity of this game. Like, tons of people still play this game. So they probably want to look like a more modern game. That's totally makes sense.
Yeah. I thought this quote was interesting from one of the people working on it. We're really taking care that you'll look at your updated character and won't say, oh, that's really not what I expected at all. Which goes to show just how much more detail is going to be going into the game. That your characters could look that much different that you might not like it. That's even a possibility. So,
exactly, yeah.
I think that's really, really neat. And the biggest thing, too, is that I didn't really think about this until I saw the article about how difficult it would be. But they're putting this all in engine. Or not necessarily in engine, but in the MMO itself. So, the easy thing to do would be remaster this game.
Yeah.
And then say you got to make new accounts. Maybe some of your stuff will pop over. Destiny 2,
trying to do a whole thing.
Yeah, and this will all be within the actual MMO so that your characters and everything that you were already playing is safe. And you don't have to leave it behind. And that's a pretty crazy feat, pretty impressive feat. So, yeah, I didn't love playing it. I don't like those kind of MMOs, but I'll definitely I'm very curious on how it would all look, at least.
Yeah, there'll be tons of people who love it, I'm sure. Tons of people won't stop playing it for sure. Like after this, people aren't going to stop playing it. But I don't know. MMOs.
Joe Morgan, he used to podcast with us. He said it's his favorite Final Fantasy game, story wise. So.
Which is pretty crazy, especially because it's still going. Like they keep putting new expansions. They keep making more story. So I'm like, is it still good? I hope so.
It's got a farming simulator.
It's crazy.
That's one thing. We were playing Tears of the Kingdom, and as much as you have to forage everything, I was mad that they don't have a farming simulator in Tears of the Kingdom, because
that'd be perfect.
How nice would it be to have a little house and then build a little farm and then be able to plant the stuff that you need so you don't have to forage it all the time.
That'd be amazing. I wish you could actually do stuff in your house. Even in the first game, you could at least put up weapons and shields and stuff. Like there's ways for you to hang your items on the wall, but now there's just a house that the game doesn't even register or acknowledge you owning. It's like, no, this is Zelda's. This is all Zelda's house. This isn't your house. Why are you here? Like, I never really truly understood the point of being able to have a home and not being able to do anything with it besides sleep in the bed. That is the only thing you can do. So the only time I would ever really go there is if I could conveniently hop over there. I would use the teleporter if I had it and nap in case I needed if I was in desperate need of healing. But even then I would usually just eat items instead. If I needed to kill time, if I needed it to be daytime or nighttime, I would sleep there. But otherwise, there's no point, which is kind of depressing, actually. I really wish there was more there.
Again, mild spoilers, you may want to skip ahead 30 seconds. There is a new house you can build that's modular in the game.
Oh.
And you can hang stuff and you can put up paintings and things.
Oh, I didn't know. Why are you
I don't think they're paintings. I think they're pictures you take with the camera.
Neat.
It was very not worth my time, so I haven't done it.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be worth mine either. I just kind of was if I already have it, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Kind of upsetting.
My wife said she can't believe that I have the audacity to want to add something to this game because it's already so big, and that's fair. But if you're gonna make me forage things, I should be able to have a little farm to not have to forage things anymore because I hate foraging so much.
Yeah, the game is so huge with so much content, yet there is still a lot of quality of life stuff they could improve on.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I don't think the game's perfect, and people may get mad at me, but it's not. So, sorry.
Not to back off the tangent. We'll get out of gaming.
Yeah.
To the movies. I saw a couple movies.
A couple big movies.
Barbenheimer. We did not. So, Shelly, you were talking about, like, I should see, how many people go from Oppenheimer to Barbie. I didn't actually. So, we watched them the same day, but we ate between movies.
Actually, think that's probably for the best. Get a little bit of time to process, to, like, take care of yourself, and then go back into another movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's. It was really nice
because we had dinner, and then we were able to talk about Oppenheimer as the first one we watched over dinner.
Yes.
Instead of going straight from movie to movie.
I think that's probably good.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, jeez.
Double features are hard enough. Like, you're gonna go watch Oppenheimer. It's a tough one. People said it's really hard to just compare the two movies, and I totally understand that way more now. You have Christopher Nolan, who does an amazing job directing, and there's no CGI in the movie. There are these amazing effects that they are more amazing knowing that they're not CGI. I don't know how beautiful they would have been to me if I hadn't known that. But you go from that to Barbie, which is also a lot of fun and really cool. But there's literally like cartoon clouds coming off of a car. Yes. So like they're such different movies, not just in tone, but in like the way that they were made. It almost felt like having two different. It almost like I wasn't watching two movies. They were two different experiences altogether. Oppenheimer is as dramatic and bleak as you would imagine it. Yeah. It definitely is like unsettling. It has made me ask a lot of questions about atom bombs and hydrogen bombs and how many there are still in the world and who has what. And man. Also, just like the fact that there's a point in the movie where they talk about, is it spoilers of his history? There are dangers. There were dangers with this atom bomb that it could ignite the atmosphere, and they said it was almost 0 chance, but that was the math, and they wouldn't know unless they tried it. Ugh. And so, like, there are humans out there that literally, like, there was a less than, like, 1 chance, but there was still a chance that they could have lit our entire atmosphere off and, like, destroyed the planet. Yeah. And they got clearance, like, someone allowed them to do that. People shouldn't be allowed to do things.
I think you're right.
It's just, like, from a Christian standpoint, like, it would be literally what we deserve.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna do stupid things that are literally to cause evil, basically. Yeah. Whether you want to say like it was justified or not, like true. It's still not to do biblical things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could have just lit our atmosphere on fire. And we did it anyways. It's crazy to me. Humans are not wise. They may be smart, super smart, but not wise. Yeah, I agree. Barbie, on the other hand, a lot of goofy fun, and also really made you like think about yourself.
It's not what you think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend, and they were like, "I'm not interested in Barbie at all. It's gonna be a kid show about Barbie dolls." And I was like, "You will be." It's so much more than that. It's so self-aware, which I thought was really interesting.
It's so good.
Like, it's very clearly not made by Mattel. Like, it's almost like they made a movie and brought it to Mattel, and I'm sure Mattel had a little.
They decided to make fun of themselves a lot.
Yeah, and critique themselves about how they haven't. They had this mission to kind of like free women in a lot of ways, and they hadn't. They actually like did the opposite for some people. For them to like admit that in the movie and then try to have a message that kind of corrects that in a way was really, really interesting. But yeah,
it's like I was just gonna say it's a movie where I don't know. I keep seeing these reviews where people are just like, it's just woke and it's like misandry and it's all this. I'm like, y'all need to think with a couple more brain cells when you watch this movie, because you're just taking in exactly what you see on the screen and not thinking any further than this. This is a movie where you think you could just turn your brain off and consume, but it's actually not. You actually have to think through it a little bit, and especially what's happening on screen isn't always what's like actually being, implied or what's actually going on. Like what's going on the screen isn't always exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's so sad that to me that people are like totally missing that. But
like I hear those critiques and it almost feels like someone was given the synopsis of the movie instead of actually watching it.
I agree. I'm like, did you watch the same movie?
Yeah, if you were telling me the movie's about, Barbie taking over, like rescuing the world from manliness, then that would seem very woke, but that's not what the movie is.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's about being enough, which the Kenough thing is really interesting, but I thought that was interesting too, is like, that's where I got that thing. The Kenough was cool, but like that was the message for the women that I saw at least too, is like, you don't have to be all of these things, you can just be.
Exactly. Like, I thought that's why I say I think this is like one of the most feminist movies I've ever seen, because it's not trying to say, hey, you're a woman and therefore you must be empowered to do all these great and amazing things. Like, definitely do be empowered to do that if you would like to, but you also don't need to go that far. Like, just you existing is good enough. Like, and I think that's a really good message. I like that a lot. And the same thing kind of goes with like, they call out the like, body, image stuff too. Yeah. And they kind of, address that as well, saying like, hey, same vein, you're enough. You're just fine the way you are. Like, if you want to go become the president, go become the president. If you want to just stay at home and eat ice cream and read a book, you can just do that. Like, I thought that was really great. I don't know, all great messaging. And again, you just kind of like have to like, there's just some nuance to some of the things that happen. I could talk more, but I don't want to spoil. But it's just really good.
We actually had to, LJ hopefully cut it out, because I was talking and I just started spoiling away.
Yeah.
I could talk about the movie for a while, I think. It's really, really good.
Sweet.
I would say definitely watch both. You don't have to watch them both on the same day like I did, but...
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Definitely both worth watching, I think. I think Oppenheimer and that story is really important, too. It is rated R, Oppenheimer is, so kind of be aware of that.
Yeah.
There is some nudity and stuff in it. There's also the destruction of Earth, so...
There's some intense things going on in that movie. And it's funny, I'll actually be watching TMNT before Oppenheimer, because I got tickets for TMNT for August 2nd. So nice. I'm still planning on watching Oppenheimer like in theaters. I just don't know when. But I'm guaranteed to watch TMNT.
Watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
Just from the cinematic standpoint, excited. The stuff that they do is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you watched any other movies this week?
I haven't watched any new movies, but I did watch Signs just because of all the alien stuff Kane talked about, like that hearing and everything. Had some friends, we were talking about it, and we were talking about Signs, and they hadn't seen Signs, so we decided to watch it with them. And that movie is just really good. It's just a really good movie. I know some people think it's sort of when M. Night Shyamalan starts to kind of go on a downward spiral with his movies, but I really like Signs. I like it a lot, and honestly I think I like it even better each time I watch it. I've only watched it a couple times, but every time I watch it I think I appreciate it a little bit more, especially the acting. Like, I think this time around I really appreciate the acting, especially my husband being a teacher. The kids in the film are the same age that he teaches, are roughly the same age, right? Sort of elementary grade level. And he's just like, wow, like, these kid actors are so good. They do really just act like kids of that age going through grief. Like, that's just how they act. Like, they're not necessarily bouncing around all the time, but the way they talk and the way that they're sort of like deadpan all the time, like, you can tell they're like going through something. So, yeah, it's really good. I don't really know what more to say about it other than I
watched it. My church actually had we had a copy of it at church because of the doubts that the main character has. And
it's like a very Christian movie. Yes. It's an incredibly Christian movie. And I think if anything, so I don't think it's spoiler to say the movie is about like aliens. There's aliens, right? And the main character, he was a reverend, but he has sort of given up the faith at the beginning of the movie. So people like still call him like father, but he's like, don't call me father. I'm not like Christian anymore. Like I'm not that. So sort of seeing his sort of how his faith sort of grows and how his family reacts to like all this news going on with like, oh, are there aliens? Stuff like happening on the news. It's a really good story. It's really well acted, really well written. It's just a really good movie. I think the only weakness really is like there's a little bit of CGI, but it's really not the emphasis at all. But some people might think it looks a little dorky, and sure, maybe it does. But you know, it's a little bit of a product of its time. For the most part, they really don't rely on it a lot. Just like one part or two. It's an older movie, yeah. It is an older movie, but I definitely recommend watching it. I'm not one for scary movies. Like, very pointedly, I'm not a scary movie person. This movie is a thriller, it's a little bit more suspenseful, but there's no, like, gore. So, for me, that's kind of something where it's like, I don't like watching gore in scary movies. I don't like watching horror. This definitely isn't horror. It's definitely more of a thriller, kind of suspenseful. So I'd really recommend watching it. It is on Max, HBO Max, I should say. So I just recommend watching it. And tell us what you think, because I just think it's a really great movie.
Yeah, totally. We will get into the movie news then.
Perfect. So just a couple things here. We have another Spy Kids coming out. I think it's going to be on Netflix. And it's called Spy Kids, I think Armageddon. I think that's what it's called. Yep, that's what it's called.
Yes, yep.
Totally new reboot, right? Totally new family, totally new kids, totally new scenario, things are happening, but definitely keeping sort of the spirit of what I think Spy Kids was intended to be. It looks like what Spy Kids was intended to be. Just like a fun movie for kids where the parents are spies and the kids are like trying to help find their parents. Then to do that, they have to kind of learn how to be a spy in some ways. What throws me off is I so heavily associate Spy Kids with terrible CGI that the CGI here is so decent. It's not even like amazing, but it's so good in comparison that I like can't even like, it's hard for me to like compare it to Spy Kids original.
Yeah, they should have got the director for Quantumania to do it.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It would have been
freaking
perfect.
Mr. Electric was in that movie.
Yeah.
Not actually, but basically. Like essentially. So
that would actually be better than it should be. It's more accurate than it.
No, you're right. But I think that's kind of fun. We needed a Spy Kids for this generation, and now we're getting one, and I hope it's just kind of fun and wholesome and silly like the first one was. Like, it doesn't need to be anything else, really. It just kind of needs to be like I don't even know if I'll watch it per se, because it is meant for kids. Like, super obviously meant for kids, but the trailer looked cute. The trailer looks like it has all the heart of what the original was trying to go for, so I appreciate that. Hopefully it's actually good and not like literally just awful. Anyway, so the Spy Kids movie, we also have just all of these Spider-Man movies are getting delayed, and we actually have like a fairly comprehensive list of a lot of them that are happening, because we already know about the two Spider-Verse movies, we already know about at least the next Spider-Verse movie, and I think there's even going to be a spin-off. Both of those are delayed. We also got Venom 3. We already know about Kraven the Hunter as well, so both Venom 3 and Kraven the Hunter are going to be taking place in that sort of the Venomverse, or whatever they're calling it, that villain universe. We also got one, Madam Web. Originally that was supposed to come out fall of this year, but now it's supposed to be next year, early next year, which is kind of crazy. So that's actually going to be the first female-led Spider-Man movie, I believe, which is pretty cool. I think... Dakota Johnson's going to be in it, and Sydney Sweeney, which is really freaking cool of them, because they are awesome. There's going to be, another one. There's a lot of just, like, untitled movies that's like, oh, supposedly there's going to be a movie. We already know, but on Spider-Verse is delayed. Tom Holland sequels, they're probably eventually happening, but they're delayed. El Muerto is on this list that I'm looking at, but I'm pretty sure El Muerto got straight up canceled, so...
Yeah, I think so.
We also have a Silk movie, Silk Spider Society movie coming out, which is cool. I think Silk is super neat, and she kind of like could totally benefit from her own movie. I'm actually surprised Silk hasn't shown up in any of the Spider-Verse movies, like as a kind of pivotal character. I'm really surprised by that, but anyway. Gonna be a Spider-Man Noir series. That's also in development. Alright, I think I already mentioned Spider-Verse spinoff. That's in development. Black Cat's getting a movie. Silver Sable's getting a movie. Nightwatch is possibly getting a movie. Jackpot is possibly getting a movie. Just a lot.
These are.
Yeah, that's I don't know about all of those, especially I don't know especially if some of those are in the Venomverse. I heavily doubt I think they're probably going to be canceled.
Yeah.
I think it's very likely some of those really far off ones like are probably just going to get canceled eventually because Venomverse just is not doing well. Craven is not going to do well. I already know it. Obviously, Morbius did not do well. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate. Spider-Man's cool, but it's just like crazy to think how many different different Spider-Man things are happening because you got MCU, Spider-Man, you got the Venomverse, and then you also have Spider-Verse. Like, that's just a lot. And then besides that, totally disconnected from all those, you also have the Spider-Man games. And thankfully, Spider-Man 2 is not delayed. That one's still coming out soon. That's
another one I need to catch up on. I haven't played a Spider-Man game yet.
I'm glad I finally beat Miles Morales this year. Yeah, it's crazy. That's what we have for movies, though. Not a ton of thought. Not a ton of stuff.
Cool. Well, we'll get into TV then. I finished Secret Invasion.
How'd you like it?
Definitely the weakest of the series. LJ's been like, it's not that bad. I'm really enjoying it. And I was like, it wasn't terrible. It just was the weakest of them. Like, I don't think it's a bad
That's not
show
good.
necessarily.
That's not good for a finale. You want that to be the strongest or one of the strongest. Right. That is not good.
I think what the show could have been is a crazy Mission Impossible face-off. Like, you don't really know who's who. In Black Widow, they had these face things that could, like, change your face. And so there could have been this whole thing of, like, nobody knows who anyone is because they're all, like, changing. And there's a couple of, like, reveals that are really cool and kind of change the narrative a little bit over the whole MCU. But honestly, like, it doesn't matter, and it's in a realm of Marvel that no one really cares about right now. Just because there is, like, all this multiverse stuff happening. And so it's kind of, this is the grounded stuff, even though it has aliens. And it's just kind of like, meh, okay. I think they should have had a lot more fun with it. I think they could have gone crazy with this. And instead, it feels very rushed.
So sad.
That's unfortunate for Samuel L. Jackson, because
it is
his first lead role in a Marvel movie, or Marvel show. And I think it could have been really good for him, too. But because he does great. His acting is always amazing. It just wasn't written very creatively. Would have been a show that would have worked back with, like way back, probably.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier era.
Yeah, that show would have hit, probably. Just knowing kind of, like, obviously I'm not watching the show, or I haven't, but hearing some things about the show, I think it would have been really interesting back then.
Yeah, it could have been crazy. I don't think the reveals would have been as big of a deal, but especially if you had, like, all the Hydra stuff, and then you had roles, like, in with Hydra and with...
Yeah, that'd be crazy. You really can't trust anyone then. Like, super can't trust anyone. That'd be... Like,
that
like, oh my gosh, no one is who they've seen.
But it was just kind of meh, unfortunately. We're going to talk about Loki Season 2 in a minute, and that I think will bring everyone back on track. But as of right now, it's just kind of...
Yeah.
The other thing I've been watching is Witcher. I still got one more episode, and it feels like the death of a show. So we'll see. I got one more episode, like I said, and I don't know. I really feel like, is it Liam Hemsworth? It's Hemsworth. I can't remember which Hemsworth that's joining it on.
Rip.
I feel like maybe it's just because that actor I don't know very well, but it almost feels like a budget cut in a lot of ways.
I just think of Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which maybe isn't good because he's not... He's in Hunger Games, but he's really not that prominent at all, and he doesn't do much.
Yeah.
He kind of just stands there, and that's what he does. In Hunger Games, he just stands there.
It's kind of... Because they made that Witcher... I don't remember what it was called, but it was a prequel series, and it was bad. And so now you're bringing over like another Witcher, and it's kind of like, oh, we can't... It feels very much like we can't afford Henry Cavill anymore, which I know probably isn't the case, but that's what it feels like. It's like we need to go... like cut budget on the show and not care about it as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just too bad. I think they realize that it's not the next Game of Thrones, and so they're gonna treat it as such.
Yeah, not everything can be Game of Thrones. In fact, only Game of Thrones can actually be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, House of the Dragon was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it was also Game of Thrones, but House of the Dragon was so good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched that show. That was a. I was never gonna watch anything from Game of Thrones again because Game of Thrones last season was so bad, and I caved.
Then you watched that.
I was glad that I did.
Good.
Yeah. That's all I've been watching. What have you been watching?
Not much, but I did just, every week I'm watching the next episode of My Adventures with Superman just because they release weekly, and I definitely liked this last episode probably the best. I just love how
I need to watch it.
Quickly paced it is. I just like how doesn't really feel like they're wasting time with things. They're just kind of going. There's actually a story. There's character development. There's stuff happening. There's I just like it. Again, there's really not too much to be said. It's not like a deep show. Really, it's just it's almost like eye candy a little bit. But it's not just pure eye candy. It's not literally just nice to look at. It is nice to look at. Although there was a pretty blatant animation error in this last episode, which was pretty funny to me. But then I thought about the Dragon Prince and how much worse the one's animation errors were in that show, and I thought, you know what, no, this is fine. They can have one of these errors, I guess. Just hopefully it doesn't continue. It was pretty blatant though. But yeah, I just like it's really kind of held forward by the characters. There's not a ton of other stuff going on, but even the villains, they have such cool designs. They don't just look like random mooks. All the villains have really cool designs, and I think that also, all the character designs in the whole show are just really cool, really nice, and they're all characters. I think that's what's a really good part of the show is every character feels very fleshed out. They all have flaws. They all have desires. They all have good things, bad things. They got development going. So yeah, it's just a good show. And again, there's only 5 episodes so far, and I really have no idea how long the show is going to be, or if there's going to be multiple seasons. I have no clue. I'm just going to ride the wave as long as I can because it's fun. And I definitely have to talk about it, especially because LJ's not here today. I have to hold it down for both of us because I know we both really like it. But yeah, no, good one. I really like this Superman. I really like this version of Superman. I really like it in comparison to all those DC movies, especially. He just feels like a true Superman. He's just goody two shoes, so super clear moral compass, and is just willing to call out anybody else who's not willing to follow that moral compass. He's like, hey, you can't do that. That's bad. Such just willing to call people out, which I think is awesome. And it does just make me want and I know I'm such a hypocrite because I'm so tired of universes, and I'm tired of all these crossovers, but I low-key kind of want to see a Batman in the show. I kind of just want to see what a Batman would look like. A cheesy little Batman. But I don't expect that. This is a Superman show, and it probably is best if it just stays on its own turf, just in its own corner, not connected to anything else. It doesn't need to be made more complex. In fact, the simpler it is, the better, probably. So
I can see them doing an overly dark Batman and just
as a juxtaposition
Batman
with Superman.
In a lot of ways.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. But no, I just recommend it if you just kind of want a nice easy watch that's still entertaining for sure. It's still funny. It is a nice little funny show too. Again, it's on HBO Max.
We'll get into the TV news then. The first one I want to start with is it's got a good and a bad to it, and that is that Lando, that TV show. We didn't know if that was actually happening or not. It is. and it is now going to be written by Donald Glover, and that's pretty cool news. I think Donald Glover will do really well with it.
Oh, totally.
Justin Simien, however, the person who was supposed to be writing the show and hadn't been given an update since 2020, said that he was supposed to hold off, was told, he says, some years ago, believes it was 2020, he found out through social media.
That's just so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong.
Like, he could have been working on it in his home, just, like, for fun. He's thinking of all these ideas last few years. Like, even if you're not actively putting something on paper, like, if you're working on something that creative, you are constantly working on it, I feel like. And then to be told, oh, never mind, you know, everything that you've been thinking about, like, doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. You're fired. So there's no, like, we don't know why. There wasn't given a reason, like, on social media, why he was no longer given the job. He had stepped away from it to direct Haunted Mansion, which is not doing great in theaters. Is it in theaters? I heard that it wasn't. Maybe it was reviews that weren't good. Let me see.
I don't know.
Haunted Mansion release date. It was either not doing theaters or wasn't doing... Yeah, 28th. So it's the 31st. It's only got a couple days, but it's not getting great reviews. So that's unfortunate. But I do think Donald Glover, given his running abilities and things that I've seen so far, and given Lando the character, I think that Donald Glover is probably perfect for that. Plus, he'll be felt like he is Lando now, so...
No, I think it'd be great. I love Donald Glover. Yeah. I trust him.
And then in the same vein, Disney Plus, we got the trailer for season 2 of Loki, and basically it is a Loki, like, I can't remember what they call it, but he's tripping out. His whole body's doing a thing because the space-time continuum is broken. He's got to go fix it. And I don't think he can fix it, so hopefully he can just, like, fix himself, I guess.
He needs one of those wrist. He needs one of those bracelets from Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and then he'll be fine. It's literally what's happening to him.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I say literally. It might literally be literally.
It might actually be.
That would be
given how Across the Spider-Verse went. I will not spoil anymore. It could just be the same.
That's so cool if they're connecting. I mean, you probably don't love the idea of Spider-Man being connected to the MCU, but...
As long as they remain separate enough.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's such a cool little tidbit. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
That's crazy. Also, I can never remember his name, but the guy from... I haven't seen the movie, that's why. Everything Everywhere All at Once. He is in this show. Which is great, just because of, like, given the medium. And,
yes. That's perfect.
But he looks like he's going to be in the show quite a bit from the looks of it. And I think he's going to be a great addition from what I'm seeing in this trailer. So,
sweet.
He needs one of the little bracelets. Anyways, that's so exciting to me. I didn't even think about that. 100% what's happening to him. And that show is coming out in September? I think it's September. That seems too early. It might be October. I'm not getting a date, really. I'm gonna find it for everyone. Stall him. To release date October 6th, 2023. Okay, thank you. So yeah. I'm very excited for that show, and I think that'll make all Marvel stuff be okay again.
Yeah, it's gonna fix everything, guys.
Yeah. At the very least, it's a show that I care about.
Yeah, we like Tom Hiddleston.
But I don't care about the rest of the MCU. At least there's a few things within the universe I can like still.
Yeah.
We'll end the podcast there. Shelly, where can they find you at?
Oh, I had other stuff to talk about.
Oh, what else are you geeking out about?
Sorry.
No,
I have been reading some manga.
Nice.
I've been reading Mob Psycho 100.
I was like, dang.
I've been reading Mob Psycho 100. And it's really freaking good. It's really good. I really like it. Unfortunately, I've kind of gotten to the point where there's one more that I need to read through, and then I need to like wait because basically Mob Psycho 100 is now under Dark Horse Comics, and they're like releasing official English translations kind of periodically. So they're up to 12 now, and so I'm about to read the 12th volume, but I'm about to read the 11th volume. 12 doesn't come out until September, and so I'm mad. So I think what I'm going to do is, I told myself I would wait to watch Mob Psycho 100, the actual, show, the anime. I was going to wait to watch it until I finished the actual manga, but I think at this point I'll just go as far as I can in the manga, and then probably just watch the show because I want to know what happens. Like, I'm very invested. This is such a good... it's just really good. Like, it really is. I mean, I liked One Punch Man. I liked the anime. The manga is a little bit, I don't know if nonsensical is the right word, but maybe it is a bit nonsensical. It's a little too extreme at times, I think. And Saitama is great, but he is pretty much a joke character. Like, he exists kind of as a joke. Whereas Mob Psycho 100, Mob is not a joke character. He is so, like, realistic. I know people just like Mob, and I think that's so cool. Like, people just kind of, like, look down on him or make fun of him or whatever, but, like, he's so fleshed out. And then you have Region, who is his, not master, but, like, his boss, basically. Their dynamic is really wholesome. Like, it's a wholesome manga, and I'm really excited to see it animated, because it's funny. It is funny. Like, it's still a comedy. There's still a lot of really funny parts, but, like, what I like about it is that it's funny, but it still has purpose. It's funny, it's still meaningful, and there's still dramatic things that happen. There's still really interesting things that happen. And it's not, like, all fun and games. Whereas One Punch Man, sometimes I feel like it's all fun and games because you can just punch the heck out of anybody. And honestly, Mob is somewhat similar, where he's also just this incredibly overpowered guy. Like, his telekinetic abilities are so strong that he could just crush anybody, but his whole character is that he's like, no, I don't want to use it against people. Like, I shouldn't be using it against people. And he's trying to, like, control his emotions so that he doesn't have to get out of control of his powers. And he's trying to go do what he can without his powers in life. And he keeps running to these other people who also have super abilities. Like, and Mob Psycho 100 and One Punch Man are super similar in such a way that there's both just are taking place in worlds where superheroes just exist, which you would think that'd make them, like, super similar, but they're, like, pretty different. But I just love, like, the concept and themes behind it. And it is really funny. So I don't know when I'll start the anime. I was definitely going to read through this next volume first, but it is a very good manga if you can't get your hands on it. I've just been reading it through the library. Remember to support your library, get your library card. You can read lots of stuff through it, including manga, if you didn't know. So that's really cool. But I definitely recommend it.
Cool. We will end it there then.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Where can you find you at?
You can find me on Twitter. I am not saying X. You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Yeah. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.